the Comedy Store is without a doubt haunted.
And he jumped off the top of the building and landed on the ramp next to the Comedy Store.
15 people wearing hoods and purple cloaks. But here's something that I witnessed.
I don't want to hear a fucking ghost story about the Comedy Store. Who gives a fuck about the ghost?
And I finally go, what the fuck is this? And I stepped back and I looked up. And what I saw was...
The energy there is very powerful.
And he hears the seats clink around in the dark, like something's moving the seats.
Things would levitate and crash against the walls.
They bring those poltergeist people into the store.
This is where shit gets weird. I didn't tell anybody at all.
Something grabs his ankle.
He gets thrown up in the ceiling. He breaks his fucking spine.
What?
Yeah.
Reliable, reasonable people had bizarre experiences.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I had this, I can't even explain it. It's like a push.
Dude, it's straight out of poltergeist shit.
Like, I've been here 20 plus years. I've never seen this guy in my entire life.
Yeah.
There was an illegal abortion center, and that's why they call it the belly room.
In this video, we'll check out some of the funniest paranormal investigators you've ever seen. The messed up stuff that really has taken place at the Comedy Store, like mafia history, serious unexplained injuries, a young comedian doing something irreversible after Mitzi retaliates against him, and a weird amount of ghost stories. Also, I believe I found something that explains where all the lore and legends from the Comedy Store came from. Okay, I'll try to get through the Comedy Store's history portion quickly. Ciro's was the most popular nightclub for celebrities, wealthy businessmen, and gangsters. Almost everyone you hear talk about the club thinks it was owned by Bugsy Siegel, but Ciro's was owned by Billy Wilkerson. He bought the place in 1940. Billy was a prominent figure in the early Hollywood era. He was primarily known for creating his company, The Hollywood Reporter, and bringing mafia antics to Hollywood. Though he was well known in Hollywood, it wasn't always for good reasons. There's several mentions of Billy meddling with actors' careers by getting them blacklisted for whatever personal or business reasons he had. There's even movies and books based on him. Billy didn't own the club for long because he was way too badass to waste his time running the most popular nightclub in California for celebrities like Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, and even Ronald Reagan. He sold it in 1943 to the guy that managed the club for him. Crime was able to thrive here on the Sunset Strip because it was outside the LAPD's jurisdiction, so it wasn't that regulated. I'm sure it was a crazy place to be considering most of the businesses nearby were like casinos, strip clubs, brothels, and other nightclubs. Some of the organized crime leaders that were known to hang out at the club were Bugsy Siegel and his lieutenant Mickey Cohen. These dudes are the type of gangsters Hollywood based their mafia movies on. Bugsy was one of the founders of Murder Inc., but in 1947, the mafia had suspicions of Bugsy stealing money, and so he would be found unresponsive in his girlfriend's Beverly Hills mansion. Yep, assassinated through a window from someone with a long-range weapon. Mickey Cohen often used a back room at Ciro's for important meetings, and everyone speculates that this is where most of the violence would go down.
People got tortured there.
Yeah.
They had a room down there where they would torture people.
He ended up living long enough to be an old man, though some of those years were wasted on lengthy prison sentences. Ciro's would eventually become less popular and finally close its doors in 1957. Finally, time to get to some of the lore everyone talks about. The first thing is pretty morbid, and there could very well be some truth to it.
There was a woman that the mob hired. Her name was Ellen, and she did illegal abortions.
And in the belly room, too, was an illegal abortion center. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. There was an illegal abortion center, and that's why they call it the belly room.
Jesus Christ.
And that's why, at times, people have said this, if you spend the night there, you can hear babies crying upstairs.
And, there's also talk that, like, they use the basement to do illegal abortions. It's like, there's a lot of, like, folklore around that place.
Yep, a smushmortion clinic. It does sound far-fetched, but after World War II, these clinics were made to be illegal due to the societal push to regain some of the population and reinforce family values. It's rumored that one of the gangster's girlfriends didn't make it through one of these procedures, so the guy killed the person that did the procedure. Just a quick warning, if you're sensitive when it comes to self-elimination, maybe skip ahead like 3 or 4 minutes. In 1972, Pauly Shore's parents Sammy and Mitzi opened the Comedy Store. They ran it together for a couple years, with Mitzi doing a bulk of the work since Sammy was a touring comic. Then when they got a divorce in 1974, Sammy just gave her the store so he didn't have to pay as much alimony, and that's pretty much how Mitzi got the place. It's pretty much been the most popular comedy club in the world for years and years, and there's no denying that Mitzi just knew how to filter in the best comics, but Mitzi definitely wasn't perfect. She had a no-pay policy with comedians, even though the club was making a good amount of money. In 1979, the comics finally grew tired of it and went on strike, having a protest just outside the store.
She was making a couple $100,000 a week.
Really?
And the comics said, hey, can we get cab fare or something? And Mitzi was so insulted.
She said, not one red fucking cent. That night they went on strike, but it lasted 8 weeks and it got ugly. I went inside. She said, let's settle this right now, once and for all. So as I'm leaving, all these comics are getting around me, talking to me. And one was Steve Lebetkin, a wonderful young comedian that who walked the picket line with us. And Lebetkin said, Tommy, please don't leave the group. If you leave the group, she'll retaliate. I said, no, it's in the contract. She can't do that. He said, Tom, I've called in 3 weeks in a row. She won't give me any time slots. I said, Steve, she will. She'll give you time slots. Don't worry about it. I said, Steve, I won't go back till you go back. I give you my word. Another week goes by. Steve Lebetkin called in for times again, and she turned them down. I'm ready to go on stage one night, and Jay Leno calls me in my dressing room. He said, Tom, Steve Lebetkin committed. He went to the top of the Continental Hyatt House. He wrote a note, my name is Steve Lebetkin. I used to work at the Comedy Store. And he jumped off the top of the building and landed on the ramp next to the Comedy Store. And of course, died. And I was...
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. Rest in peace to Steve Lebetkin. I wonder if he would be one of the big comics nowadays if things went differently. Now, there's no video evidence of Mitzi talking about any paranormal stuff at the club, but she definitely thought something was going on at the store, because she would hire what they called cleaners or clairvoyants to clean her office of bad spirits.
We would have clairvoyants come in there every once in a while. Like once a year, a clairvoyant would come in and want to try to communicate with the spirit of the place, because it's a legendary haunted place.
But you know Mitzi, though, right?
Right.
Mitzi hired a cleaner from Paris every year for 30 years to clean her office, because there was apparently things would levitate and crash against the walls in her office. Have you ever been inside her office?
Yes.
I've never seen it, and I've been there for 25 years. I don't think
you've never seen the inside of that office?
No.
Leslie Jones says she experienced something at the Comedy Store, but the story's kind of confusing.
Everything, and you can see people closing up too. And I was like, I've never been here past the closing hours. So I was like, it's gonna be nice. I'm gonna smoke a joint and sit in the parking lot of this place I fucking love. The last light went out, and all of a sudden I had this, I can't even explain it. It's like a push. Like, yo, you're not supposed to be here.
Ooh.
This is our time. Please leave.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you high, bitch. You been high, and I'm getting ready to light the joint. And that motherfucker was like, yo, get the fuck out. So I started my car and left.
The only reason I'm hesitant to assume anything happened here is because when she describes the push, it makes me think about that immediate intense fear when your mind thinks of something creepy and you're alone somewhere, because your mind's pretty powerful and it can make you feel things. When I'm hundreds of feet up on a tower, sometimes I have to wait for things to be programmed. So I take a quick nap, and every now and again the tower will feel like it's falling, but of course it's all in my head, and I'll jolt awake. Your mind can make you feel things, especially if you are tricking yourself into being scared. Maybe it was a physical push sensation. Okay, this is super weird, and it's probably the creepiest story in my opinion. Mitzi would allow these rituals at the store where some celebrities attempt to contact Andy Kaufman, which sounds like some Hollywood demonic stuff.
But can I just tell you something about that belly room also? And this brings up something, the scariest thing I've ever seen up there. One night at 2 a.m, I was hanging out there, okay? And they go, you can hang out here, but upstairs they're doing something, but you cannot go up there in the belly room. I go, it's closed. Who gives a fuck? He's like, there's something going up there. Do not go up there. But I went up there. The back entrance, up the black. I opened up that back thing, right? It's pitch black in there, but I see candles, right? I swear to God, I saw this. 15 people wearing hoods and purple cloaks. Oh my God. Okay? And they're chanting. Right? And then, so I go back downstairs and I wait to see. They come down after the seance. You know who I saw? One of them was Lily Tomlin. Okay? The second one was Bob Zamuda. You know Bob Zamuda? And they were seancing Andy Kaufman's ghost.
Did it work?
I don't know. I didn't stay up there long enough to know. But what I'm saying is that there's something about that belly room that is a portal of something.
I'm not one to believe in conspiracy theory like stories, but there's so many of these stories in circulation around Hollywood and demonic rituals, I wouldn't be super surprised if this were true. Keep in mind, guys, that the late 70s and the late 90s at the Comedy Store was a place where some things were just part of the environment, like substances and drinking. It was a common way for people to ease their nerves, especially if they have like stage fright or scared of bombing. Yes, many comics didn't partake, but it's something we need to keep in mind when listening to these crazy stories. Since ghosts are associated with dying violently or unresolved business, I looked up the deaths at Ciro's and there's no reports of anybody getting whacked off, but some of these comedians think one guy in particular was violently whacked off and they call him Gus. Bobby Lee tells 2 good stories about seeing him for the first times.
There's only one ghost there, bro.
The belly room.
And his name is Gus. Do you know that?
Is that his name?
That's his name, bro. Gus, dude. I've seen Gus twice, bro.
Now, where did you see Gus?
The first time I saw Gus was Johnny Sanchez. You know that little Latino guy?
Yes, absolutely.
You know, he goes, hey, bro. I go, what's up? Let's do a gig in Bakersfield.
Johnny doesn't even sound like this. I don't know why Bobby's doing that.
So I park my truck at the Comedy Store. He takes his car. We drive to Bakersfield. We do a show. On the way back, it's like 3 a.m. now. Right? He drops me off at my car. We're standing in the parking lot, just talking about the night or whatnot. And we both look up at that top window, and we see a face glowing, no eyes, no features, wearing a top hat, and 2 hands against the window, looking down on us. And we look at the thing. We look at each other again, and we look back up. It's gone. And we believe that to be Gus, my friend.
That was the first time. When was the second time?
I was playing the piano at 4 a.m. But back then, it wasn't in back there. It was on the side of the stage.
On the side of the stage.
Right. So it's completely dark, right? And I'm playing my own improvised little, Korean lullaby. Dang ding, dang ding, dang ding dong, ding, dang dang ding, dang ding dong, ding, dang. Stuff like that. And I look to my right, and I see a yellow suit with a top hat, but from far away. You know where the entrance is? I see it coming toward me. I run out that back door, to the hallway.
Yeah.
And I come back in, it's gone. And that I believe that to be my second encounter with Gus. Gus apparently was a bodyguard or a doorman back when it was Ciro's, and he was assassinated there. And he's like a mafia hitman, his ghost, and he's angry. What's the matter?
Joey Diaz even talks about his experience, which he thought was Sam Kinison.
I was in the original room.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had like a 12:45 spot in the original room. I hear a voice in the main room. There's a show going on in the main room on a Saturday night. I walk up. I know Mitzi's in her chair in that booth there.
Oh, yeah, back in the day.
I didn't go in. The main room stage is that TV. I'm in the hallway. Something kept blocking the light from the belly room that was shining on the wall. So every time I would watch, something would block it. And I finally go, what the fuck is this? And I stepped back and I looked up. And what I saw was...
What'd you see, dude?
I don't want to say this.
No, you have to.
What I saw was a guy look at me, but before I could see his face or what he had in his head, he threw a cape over. And he went into the belly room.
That was Gus, dude.
And
that
I
ain't no
said-
Sam Kinison.
And I was like, Jesus Christ. I finally saw my first ghost at the store. That's it. It's done.
So Gus wears a top hat and a cape?
Now, Princess Corey has...
Don't doubt it, dude.
Princess Corey has
it's
a story
amazing.
about getting...
Man, Joey's dramatic pause and the ghost just throwing his cape over the shoulder has me laughing, but if I saw this in real life, I would probably be freaked out too, to be honest. Since we mentioned Sam Kinison, I may as well do Carl LaBove's story next. So Sam Kinison is obviously a big name in comedy, especially in the 80s and early 90s. He was touring all over the country and he was on the popular late night shows. Even though he was on top of the world, it ended pretty quickly one night in April of 1992. He was on his way to the next city for a sold-out show when a drunk driver swerved into his lane. His best friend Carl LeBeouf and their managers were in a van right behind Kinison and they witnessed the whole thing.
One time when Carl LeBeouf and Sam Kinison moved to LA from Houston, they snuck into the store to sleep because they were poor, right?
Right.
And they slept on the main room stage. And Carl LeBeouf, he passed a couple of months ago, God bless him.
I know, God.
And Carl was awoken to Sam Kinison levitating upside down from the stage, being levitated by his foot. And he's like 3 feet off the fucking...
But Kinison's asleep still.
Yeah. And then he was dropped on his back. But he was definitely like 4 feet up from the stage. And they believed that it was Gus that was doing that.
Carl had the weirdest story. He got kicked out of his house. He got in a fight with his wife, and he got kicked out of his house. And he went to the Comedy Store and decided he was going to sleep on the stage in the main room. And he's like, man, you know, I'm gonna fucking make it. I'm sleeping on this stage. She's gonna kick me out of the house, but one day I'll fucking show you. And so like he's drunk and he lays down on the stage, and then he hears a door shut. And the Comedy Store main room is pitch black, right? So this is what it looks like. But that's only when the lights are on. So he's laying down and he hears a door shut, and he goes, "Hey, it's Carl. It's me, Carl. Who is that?" And then he doesn't hear shit. And then he hears chairs moving. He hears like clink, 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 clink.
Oh, God.
And he's sitting there. He's going, what the fuck is going on? And something grabs his ankle and pulls him off the stage and onto the floor. And then he hears chairs moving again. And bam, the door shuts and slams. And nothing else. There's no one in the room. He has no idea what the fuck happened, but he told that story on stage one night. It's like he set the tone, this like spooky lighting, and it was really cool.
Wait, so he got pulled by his ankle off of the stage, so
Off the
multiple
stage.
feet away.
Yeah, something grabbed him. He didn't see anyone. But something grabbed his ankle and pulled him off the stage and onto the floor.
Bruce Gray is a store guy / comic that had a pretty odd experience.
Very weird thing happened recently that I don't know how to put it in any other words other than it's fucking weird and spooky. So this guy came in and wanted to park in the lot. And you have to be a paid regular to park in the parking lot. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a paid regular." And nobody knows who this guy is. Literally, like, nobody working, none of the comedians there. The manager, GM, he's like, "I've been here 20 plus years. I've never seen this guy in my entire life."
Yeah.
And then finally he like gets Chris Spencer. Do you know this older comic works a lot with Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I remember that guy. He Mitzi would put him up. I don't know if his name was on the wall, but Chris Spencer's like, he's not going to lie for some random guy. He's like, "No, I remember that guy. That he would do that. I think one other guy did too." And I've never heard of this guy. Nobody had. 2 hours later, I'm grabbing somebody bought a shirt, so I'm grabbing a shirt, and I don't know if you know the layout as much of the Comedy Store, of like where the merch is, but it's like behind closed doors, and nobody's just walking back there unless it's like a big comedian trying to cut through to not get seen by the crowd. And then I looking for the shirt, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to the back part, very, very back. But in the little phones room in there's a drawer with the keys for the back thing. So then I go in there, open the drawer, and it's just like a million old papers and old lineups and bullshit. Like, it's not organized at all. I go in there and I grab the keys, it's a stack of papers, and only thing that's sticking out at the very, very bottom of this is the white strip of paper and has that guy's name on it.
Wow.
And so I was like, what the fuck? And so I move those papers and I pull up a dusty headshot, and it's that guy.
No. I thought you were going to say he was in the back room where he was
truly, and that's what I told somebody that, and they were like, what, did he go back there? I was like, dude, nobody was back there.
Like I said, kind of odd, but I wouldn't say paranormal or even creepy. Pete Gray. This happened in 2000 and is actually told by Bobby.
Here's something that I witnessed. There's a comic by the name of Pete. That's his real name. I don't want to say his last name. And he was in the belly room. He performed. Have you been in the green room in the belly room?
Yes.
Okay. So from the showroom to the green room, there's a little hallway you walk through.
Yep.
Right? This dude's like my height, right? If you look at the ceiling, it's pretty high. It's probably this high, the way the ceiling is. Maybe a little shorter. And Pete has a good set in the belly room, walks down the hallway, and then his head hits the ceiling. Whoa. He gets thrown up in the ceiling. He breaks his fucking spine.
What?
Yeah. And he's now has to go through surgery for years. In fact, he sued the store and he got some sort of compensation. That's what I've never seen this guy before after this event. Wow. But apparently, you know what I mean? I was there downstairs, but apparently people that witnessed it, right, saw him just being thrown up there like Gus. It's Gus.
I was able to find a comic with this same name doing a set on some TV show.
Want to see something scary? You see the scar? Vietnam, 3 years old. I really had no business in that tree. Broke my spine for real. 4 titanium screws, 2 steel plates. Ever since that happened, people are saying, look on the bright side.
After hearing Bobby's story and then the comedian talking about his broken spine, yes, it makes the story cohesive, but obviously ghosts are not throwing people into the ceiling so hard that it's breaking their spine. I mean, come on. And Bobby's a mischievous little guy. I don't know if he's messing with us or what's going on. He's telling the story with conviction. Blake Clark did a set where he was talking about the experiences he's been through, but since it's done on stage during one of his sets, it could all just be performance. Who knows, really?
I worked here for 2 years and 8 months. And I was walking across the back there, and I distinctly heard women's voices, more than one woman, talking in the ladies' room back there, the women's room. So I said, all right, hey, I've closed the place up, gotta get out, come on. Then it got quiet. So I went, come on. Nobody came out. Cut to the chase, I go in. I said, all right, I'm coming in. And you could walk in and I could look in the mirror and look back down where the stalls are. So I went, well, maybe somebody's in there up, with their feet up on the commode. So I actually went and pushed every stall open to see. And when I got to the last one, I knew there had to be somebody in there. Pushed it open, there was nobody. Stuff like that.
If you want to see the whole thing, just search up Blake Clark Ghost Stories. Really quick, guys, I want to get your input on something regarding the channel. So my goal for having this channel is to just bring interesting stories to light that people aren't aware of because they happened over the span of years and years. The question I'm going to ask you guys is, should I open up to the whole internet or should I stay strictly in the comedy world? Because we already have quite a few channels here on YouTube related to just comedy stuff, and there's so much more options to talk about if I open up to the entire internet. Just let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll get back to the content. Tony Hinchcliffe never believed in this stuff, but after around a year of working at the store, one night him and the Comedy Store's piano player Jeff Scott seen the same apparition.
The whole first year or so, I was looking for one and hoping to see one. I'm not stoned every night, looking around the corners, feeling creeped out. I'd be the one that shut off the lights in the rooms, and you'd be looking and you didn't see anything. And then one day, middle of the damn day, sun blazing, it's like 1, 2, 3 p.m., somewhere in there. And I took a break from the phones to go smoke a cigarette. So you have to walk like down a hall and through the dark belly room because all those lights are off during the day. And when I broke the pathway into the belly room, there was just a weird feeling that happened. And then this human height looking jellyfish, like vibrating, kind of see-through, but like it's kind of, I don't even know how to describe, kind of jellyfish-esque, just this weird blob.
A ghost.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like it. I know. Exactly. So I walk away and I don't tell anybody. This is where shit gets crazy. Is later that night, the house piano player of 35 years or whatever, Jeff Scott, the exact same day that I saw whatever the hell I saw, we're going to smoke. He gets ahead of me because I'm saying hi to a waitress in the bar area. And then by the time I'm almost to that door, he's walking by me, now this direction, like he had seen a ghost. And I go, Jeff, where are you going? We're smoking. He goes, whoa, and he snaps out of it, and he goes, dude, I just saw something crazy. I go, what did you see? And I'm fucking tripping in my head because I literally am going, please don't fucking say a white kind of blobby jellyfish looking thing.
Well, actually, it's better if it's just one.
Yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it?
It was.
So it was the same ghost.
Same exact thing, except this time it was outside and it moved how he said that my thing moved, which is kind of like.
But I walked out back in the sacred ground, opened our door that has a window in it, and I saw somebody standing with a white hoodie. And so I thought, well, I'll open the door slowly. And as I did, they moved back. And when I got the door completely open, I realized it wasn't a person in a white hoodie. It was a perfect outline of a human that went down about to a foot on the ground. It was like this far from the ground. Perfect shadow outline of an adult person. And as if you blew a bubble that could be that shape, and then filled it with smoke.
Weird.
And I turned and I ran right into my friend Tony Hinchcliffe, one of our paid regulars. And he's like, dude, I saw it today while I was working phones up in the belly room.
I know, the whole concept of a smoky bubble seems like something straight out of Ghostbusters, and trust me, I think it sounds dumb too, but then I was thinking, why would they make up something so not scary? I'd think if they were going to make something up, it would be a little more scary or creative at least. I don't know. Jay Moore has a similar story to Princess Corey.
You know my ghost story with the store?
No.
So Louis Anderson was doing Sundays. That's what they did too. You're so fucking funny.
Sorry about it. What? We don't want to hear a fucking ghost story about the comedy swing. Gives a fuck about the ghost. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it haunted?
I don't fucking know.
And I went out on stage, and I'm on stage a good 4 minutes. And when I tell you nobody was laughing, nobody was moving.
Oh, wow.
I realized in real time, I look out and people are like frozen like a painting. And then I feel the cold on my neck and I go, get the fuck away from me, ghost. And the crowd goes, bah! They all explode laughing like it was the biggest joke.
Wow.
That was trippy.
I want to open with that tonight.
Princess Corey told me a story one day. And she told me that's the first time she told me. She goes, oh, this place is definitely fucking haunted. And I go, what are you talking about? And she goes, one night I got really fucking hammered. And I figured I'd go into the main room and fall asleep in one of the booths. She goes, I figured I'd nap for an hour, sleep it off, and wake up. She goes, I was awakened to fucking ballroom music.
Wow.
Blasting in the Comedy Store.
That's creepy.
And she said she popped her head up and the whole main room stage was people dancing with top hats and jackets on, like just dancing. And that she got up, ran out. Yeah, and set the alarm off.
Whoa.
Cops came, the manager at the store came at the time. She was the talent coordinator at the time.
I don't know what to say about those two stories, to be honest. Duncan Trussell has two stories, but they aren't very paranormal to me, so I won't bore you with them. They're just a light flickering when a clairvoyant was blabbing.
And then that fucking sign, man. It starts going zzz, 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 zzz.
And the other was an argument happening twice in the same spot between different people.
And then, within like 3 minutes, in that very same spot, 2 different people got in the same fucking fight.
Apparently, this ghost investigator goes through the Comedy Store one day.
I actually saw a dark figure, someone standing a few feet away from me to the right. I do believe it was Gus the Ghost. This is the window Bobby Lee saw, witnessed Gus the Ghost appear in. And perhaps Gus the Ghost, who's been there for maybe 1,000 years, 100 years, we don't know.
Some comedians just decide to ask him a few questions.
The comedian asked me to sit next to him. I mentioned how I just saw a ghost out of the corner of my eye. Everyone in the entire room was extremely skeptical. I tried to tell more ghost stories or just talk about my belief because I was haunted by a poltergeist in 2011. But this is the 3rd night in a row, and these people are already tired of hearing my story. And so everyone in the room is rolling their eyes, yawning, wanting to go home. People are making up dumb questions like, what do people do stuff? Is one of the questions I got. Even the mocking of me was getting lazy, and I was getting tired of the place. I really wanted to talk about higher dimensional entities, how invisible spirits are watching us right now.
This group of investigators does a paranormal investigation at the Comedy Store, and it's definitely peak paranormal content.
Can you sit down?
No, I still do. My whole body is just freaking, I got the chills so bad. I feel dark presence and I feel emotional.
Touch me. Say something into my recorder or my camera. Touch me. Touch me.
You okay?
Dude, my eyes are just watering like crazy right now.
Who's in here right now that's making us feel like this? That's me running into a table.
Do the women who met their untimely fate roam the Comedy Store? That is up to you to decide.
This last piece of footage we're going to get into hilariously ties everything together so well.
Are you ready for this one?
Yes, come on, let's go and do it and sort it.
All right, let's go this way. That's the one I need to meet.
Come on. We're going to go right to the end. Let's go and do these things, eh?
Dr. Larry Muntz did investigations at the Comedy Club for Mitzi Short in 1997 and 1999. Let's see if old Larry and these psychics started any of the ghost stories that the comedians talk about. I'm foreshadowing.
It smells very medicinal to me.
Yes.
It feels like a lot of abortions were conducted up here. That's the feeling I get. And clairaudiently, I hear the wail of babies, many babies up here.
But he's standing right behind us, and see now, right behind Steve right now, it is pitch black. No, he was shot in the head when he was supposed to do a hit on somebody else.
Well, they got him.
They got him, yeah.
There's a man here. It's a man.
Something very evil.
Not a good man. Not a good man.
I know, I'm okay.
He's, don't you dare do that to me.
I'm doing okay.
It's Costello.
You have no business letting them do that.
Costello.
You have no business letting them
But
do
Gus
that.
is not going to. When we first conducted the investigation here, we found that his name was Frank or Francis, and that he was nicknamed Gus. Gus is one of the mafia hitmen.
Oh, right.
He had explained to us that he thought he was going to hell for what he did, and so he has remained here at Ciro's. And what's interesting to me.
So we see that these clairvoyants are the ones that started the whole concept of Gus and the underground abortion clinic. Everything else, of course, I can't disprove. I just thought it'd be interesting to make a video on all the spooky ghost lore stuff that has happened at the Comedy Store. I don't really believe in this type of stuff, but it is pretty odd that so many people say they've experienced things like this. Well, that's the video. Hopefully somebody enjoyed it. I'm already working on the next one, so I'll see you in the next video.
I don't want to hear a fucking ghost story about the Comedy Swing. Gives a fuck about the ghost.
Touch me. Touch me.
Don't you dare do that to me.